What about now?
We've got our chief technician working on it. Does it any, can you see anything?
It'll be about a 30 or 40 second.
I have to go back in the house because I just have phone service on the porch. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
It'll be about a 30 or 40 second delay, but thank you.
Thank you.
Can we?
Okay.
Look, can,
All right.
Okay, thank you.
it's fine. Well, we appreciate you calling.
If we ever get you hung up, we'll talk to somebody else.
There we go. We got it.
I ain't so sure
Okay.
we have.
Hey, bro.
Let me tell you what happened. We thought, and that's the reason I got into politics, and I saw this coming 30 years ago. I fought building codes and zoning tooth and nail, and managed to keep enough stank stirred up that the politicians never did get it going. But before Obama even took office, the orders come down from on high that we needed building codes here in order to get all that there grant money from the federal government through national to us, and now we got them. Of course, it ain't biting yet, it's going to. And the next thing coming up is zoning for the same reason, and this thing right here is part of that same schedule for Washington to tell us what to do. You know that it's in the process now of the EPA is going to institute new regulations that if you've got so much as a pothole in your yard, it's federal property.
If it holds water.
If it holds water.
That's
You
correct.
could possibly empty your coffee cup out the window or do what we used to do off the porch when I was a little boy, and that could be considered federal property right then. Now that, when the EPA does that, and whether they have the guts to pull it off right now or not, it's happening, and when they do it, it takes a vote of both houses of Congress to overturn that regulation. The Supreme Court's already gone along with it. So we're just screwed is the word we got, buddy.
That's exactly right. And we told you and we told you, and until it hits you, nobody's gonna believe it.
Well, now, these laws, what you're talking about, and I've seen this happen many times, where a law is enacted, passed, and whatever, but not enforced. They'll pass it, it's on the book, and then they'll back up and say, oh, well, that's been the law for 5 years. They did it to us on weights years ago on trucks and
Yeah.
whatever. But what you're saying, this $400,000.
County Fires Act's a good example of what you're talking about.
County Fires Act, yeah, buddy, I tell you, that,
But continue with your 400,000.
for this $400,000 that Beard has sucked off, or whatever you want to call it, we're going to pay at least $2 or $3 million in what we're going to lose as far as our rights. We're going to lose stuff that we can't even put a price on, is what we're going to do.
Yes, sir.
And I'll bet, along with this grant, there comes a lot of rules, regulations. People, now you said something about they're going to send people into our meetings to advise us.
Well, it didn't state it exactly that way, but yes, sir, that's what'll happen.
Well, they'll have to go through Jeff Marlowe,
Yeah, I
but
wasn't aware of
it won't take much money to bring him in line, will it?
He just needs a raise.
You know, this
School
election,
board bought him for $15,000 a year.
yeah, that was just icing on the cake there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's so he would sign them bid splitting checks.
I read in the, I guess it was the press, the platform that these people are running for county executive, county mayor are. And I wasn't impressed at all. One of them I thought I would be impressed with until I read the thing.
Where'd you read that?
It was in the press, I believe it was this week, wasn't it?
I got a copy of it Thursday, not this Thursday, but last Thursday.
Huh.
Along with this proposal in the city to put in an ice rink. And what this is where they rent one. They rent an ice rink, somebody comes in, sets it up for a week, costs $17,000 per week. Now,
Could you rent it for about 15 minutes? I
well,
could fall down and break something
well,
in 15 minutes.
the thing of it is, ideas like this and these suggestions, I have got no problem with such an idea or such a suggestion as long as the taxpayer is not paying for it. Let an individual who thinks this is a good idea, profitable, whatever, put up the money rent the thing and bring it in here, and I'm sure the city would allot them a place to set it for a week. And
Well,
let them-
look at it this
Let them
way.
have the profit off of it.
Maybe our solar panel company has gone into the ice rink business.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, yeah,
I think
this,
that's, well, this, you know, this is I read this, and I may go down and talk before city council. You know, I don't see any reason in the world why, city, county, state, or federal government is supposed to provide entertainment for the people, okay? Especially here, when they can't provide decent jobs, they can't provide, decent streets, or even indecent jobs or indecent streets. They can't provide any of that, but yet here they want to go and entertain the people during the week of Christmas by renting a, mobile skating, area. Now, with the idea that they probably are going, the city's going to install one. Now, in Knoxville, there is one ice skating rink, privately owned, and they charge for it, okay? Then at certain times during the holiday
Everyone leaves
season,
their stuff.
in certain times during the
Everyone leaves it from us.
holiday season, Pilot, oil company will rent one and set it up in Market Square.
Well, I thought they were putting some kind of water park and an ice skating rink there in our new town.
You talking about over in Lake City?
Christian is Rocky Top.
Yeah, okay.
I think we ought to change the name of La Follette.
I'd like to get it.
La Follette was founded as a coal town, and now that Jeff Marlowe has declared that there's no money coming in from coal, you know, no coal severance tax, so there's no coal production, I think we ought to change the name to La Follette.
I think we ought to, figure out some way to tax politicians and we'd be all right then.
Let them pay for all their projects,
well,
out of their own pocket.
it's like this suggestion right here. If this was financially feasible, this ice rink, let an individual do it.
And one other thing, if I could just get the job of moving the roller skating park and the skateboard park in Follett, I'd have a steady income. They move it every year and it costs $20,000, $30,000, $40,000.
I'd like to know what swell in Campbell County has a child that wants an ice rink,
Well,
an ice skating rink,
let's
you
look-
know, and wants the people to pay for it. They ought to make that public. Who is it that wants the dadgum
Whoever
thing?
wants it, let them do it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Let me ask you a question.
Well,
Wouldn't it benefit the taxpayer more if we publicly funded a bowling alley
well,
or a roller skating
let me-
rink?
Let me mention something.
You know, rednecks like roller skating rinks.
If any of these
bowling
things,
alleys.
if any of these things would produce a profit, and private industry could do it cheaper than anybody else and make more profit, then private industry would already have an ice skating ring in here. Now, it's about like do they have the, the splash park open yet?
Who knows? Back here a year or two ago, they was having to give away free hot dogs to get somebody to come do it.
That's $100 and some $1,000 operation there.
Yeah, that was a Cliff Jennings, Bob Fannin project, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, see, the, Cliff was going to take, I don't know what money it was, they was going to tear down the West La Follette School and put an indoor swimming pool in there. In other words, this was another one of the big ideas. Putting in a swimming pool, or an ice rink, or whatever you want to call it, anything you want to put in, that's just the beginning of it. From there on, it has to be nursed and took care of like an infant child from then on. You got to insure it, man it, clean it, fix it, you name it. Not only that, but it takes it off the tax roll. It's nothing but it's kind of like that Money Hole Park out there. It's just more money. Let me ask you this. You take a person out here on a fixed income over here anywhere in the city of La Follette that's living hand to mouth, trying to survive, they have to pay for this skating rink. They're not going to be going down there ice skating, but yet you're putting it on their plate to pay for it. And
For
like
some
anybody else-
swell's child to
well-
go down and ice skate.
Well, this is true, but if it is a financially feasible undertaking, let private enterprise do it and keep the,
If
you
you
know
could-
what, out of it.
You know, the private market can't even support a roller skating rink.
Well.
They can't support a bowling
A
alley.
bowling alley.
They
do
can't support a game run.
There's
You know,
there's hardly any pool rooms left.
No pool run.
Especially since Cliff stopped
You know-
renting them.
Speaking of pool rooms, a little on the lighter side here. I hope I'm not interrupting with the mainstream of our discussion, but I grew up over on Ida, Scott County. And, we had pool tables over there. They were propped up on cinder blocks, old used bricks, and
Were they level?
broomsticks and empty beer bottles. And no, they weren't level, and they shook and rattled, and of course, we'd get thinking we were pretty good, you know, on these tables. We'd win 10 or 15 games in a row. Think, well, let's go to La Follette and clean them fellers out over there. So we'd save up about $20 and drive over to La Follette.
And lose it all.
They had level tables in La Follette, but that wasn't the problem. Their people could shoot over here. And now, over in Oneida, we'd play for a quarter game. You know, high rollers might play for 50 cents a game. We come over here, buddy, nothing less than $5 a game. So you know how far
Four
that
games.
$20 went when we come to La Follette.
Four games.
We had to use our Tennessee credit card to get back to Oneida.
Mark Twain said that they had a pool table that the top was ruined on, a billiard table, I mean, and he said that, they thought it was ruined till they learned to play on it and decided that was the best way to play the game. Anybody play on a flat table.
That's right. You learn them ups and downs and leans, and, if you got a table that leans a little bit, you can just park your ball on the rail and let it roll right into the pocket. But we got over here to Follette, they had real tables.
Well, I got to spending more time in the pool room than I was spending on my job back years ago. I remembered what my daddy told me. He said, boy, he said, if you're any good at pool, you ain't good for nothing else.
Well, I'll tell you what, we thought we were good till we come to La Follette. We always playing big. We'll go over and we'll clean them guys out over there in La Follette and earn us enough
We'll
money.
go over here
Then
and
we'll
let
go
you clean me
then
out.
we'll go to Knoxville.
Go
where
to
they-
Chicago, huh?
We go to Knoxville where they had them second floor pool tables, as far as you can see in the smoke-filled room, nothing but pool tables. And we could never get past La Follette.
All right. Hey, what about Ronnie?
If you want a gamble, just go to the mayor's house.
What?
And if you want to sheriff, sit up there and go to the sheriff.
Hey, you're breaking up. Try it again.
Breaking up.
Yeah, you on cell phone?
You're breaking up.
Yeah, you on the cell phone?
I'm fixing to break up.
We can't tell what you're saying.
Yeah, you're breaking up. Hey, call back, maybe we'll get a better connection.
We can figure out how to turn you off. That work?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I'm gonna tell them about Digger Wilson right now.
All right, tell them about 562-5444.
I know it's 5444.
Yeah,
5444, let's see here.
5444.
Is that what it is?
We need to read those, there's some of the problems.
Yeah, William Beard's executive success here. We got 18 things compiled by Jim Slusher about William Beard's success.
Well, go ahead.
What about Ronnie?
Yes, I'm gonna ask a question and I'll hang up and let you answer.
All right,
Do you remember whenever they had put that golf down here at Toe String? I thought that was a pretty good thing myself, but I'll let you answer that.
Yes, I remember that. They had a little putt golf course they had a little go-kart racetrack that went up and over the golf course, and they had a game run right next to it. And it was all there across from Walgreens, where Walgreens went in.
You couldn't get enough business to keep it open.
Couldn't get enough business to keep it open. So, they didn't know how to delve into the public treasury to run their business.
Let me see if I can get this to work now.
All right.
Hang on now.
Vaughn Digger Wilson. Been here off and on for over 30 years in the same spot. Pumping propane, doing repairs on containers, heaters. I'm the only one in the county that'll do you a repair on your tanks if you need it. I sell propane gas, liquid propane, and I've got plenty of competitors, and I can easily compete with them. That's grills, backup heat, substitute heat, grills, campers, motor homes, you name it, and if it's comes in through that door, I can take care of it. I'm here Tuesday through Friday, 8 till 5, and Saturday, 8 till 12. Take a call me at 562-54.
What's the rest of it, Bob?
4-4.
44. Not 5444, but
5,
5.
4, 4, 4.
5-4-4-4.
That's it.
Extension 44.
Now, what did you have there? Some sort of a compilation of complaints or something?
No, this is a compilation put together, according to my source, by Mr. Jim Slusher, and passed on to me by one of your best friends.
I ain't got one.
And competitors in show business.
Oh,
This is all the great successful failures. Can you refer to a failure as a success?
it depends on what your intentions are.
If you
It's
could-
William Beard's failures, and there's a big long list of these folks. We start out with, he has it listed as a Lighthouse Marina. I thought it was a convention center
It
on
is
top
a
of
hotel.
the cliff.
It's for
Hotel
that-
on top of
for
the
the
cliff,
benefit of that marina over there is what it's for.
called the Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's right next to a failed motel on the road going to the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That has been there for a long time.
Yeah, I know, but it still finally had to close its
I
doors.
know it did, but they couldn't
Uh,
get enough convention trade.
William Beard has failed at the coal ash dump. That's a failure to the people up there in the Duff area who don't want it.
Yeah.
The solar panel purchase.
That wasn't a failure.
Oh, that was a big success when it comes to rip-off
Yeah.
and running up the debt of the property owners of Campbell County. That was a huge success. And they railroaded that through and had it was being installed, delivered and installed even before the county commission appropriated the money for it. There should be an audit of that project to see what legalities and illegalities was going on there. Removal of free speech at the county commission. Now, I'm sure Mr. Henson here will enjoy that one, since he was the primary instigator of the removal of free speech.
I'll put a target on your back like I did me one time.
Yep. Failed county audits and repeat monetary spending violations covered up by failure to audit programs that were being carried on. No leadership in the finance office or for the finance office. They do whatever they like. Abandoned railway spur.
Where's that spur at?
It ain't.
It ain't there anymore. It was abandoned.
Where was it?
I don't know, they removed it. I can't find it now.
That-
Loss of industry. You know,
We've lost several,
I don't
yeah.
have a list of the major industries that we've lost, but they've, you know, government's gone out of their way to try to destroy industry.
Is
Well,
Volkswagen not coming here?
Hey, the brass company moved out.
But what about Volkswagen? Didn't we get them?
Well, Remington Arms went right past us to Alabama.
I thought we got Volkswagen.
I emailed William Beard and asked him, you know, why weren't you working with Remington to try to get them to come to our county? He said, well, you know, I did send them an email and I made a phone call. I said, well, that even makes it worse, William, because if you knew they were looking for a place to go to, why weren't you sitting in their lobby and in their conference rooms day after day convincing them what a great place
With a proper
Yeah.
presentation.
Yes, with a proper presentation. Besides, I'd like to see a copy of the email and the phone records where you called him. Do you think he sent them to me? No.
Yeah.
Well, that
Sure.
that wasn't Remington, that was,
It's like,
Well, what it was, he misunderstood. That was a Remington electric shavers. They wasn't planning on moving.
poor leadership for the county commission and the county. Animal shelter fiasco. Of course, if you guys hadn't fought that taxation on vermin,
Yeah.
we
Big
could have
cockroaches we got down.
paid for the animal shelter and had money left over. You guys ruined
Well, Cliff
you
wouldn't
guys
have-
ruined the good thing.
Cliff
wouldn't you?
wouldn't have to tax signs, you know, would you?
That's right. Tax vermin. Budget overruns for the jail. Poor design on the jail. Salary enhancement from the schools for the director of finance. Small business incubator, total failure, except it did pay for the rental of rooms that are still empty, even though the county's paying for the rental of these rooms on the second floor of a bank building.
That's corporate welfare.
That's right. We got local corporate welfare, so I guess you could mark it up as a success,
Yeah,
couldn't you, Bob?
yeah, that's corporate welfare, yeah.
Lost the driver's license center. Now we have to drive to Oak Ridge. Industry and
That's right,
business
ain't it?
recruitment. What?
I said, that's right, ain't it?
Yeah. Industry and business recruitment has been a failure. He also announced that he was going to leave his post after he was elected. I think he thought he was going to be offered a job by Governor Haslam, and it didn't come through. And so he did not leave the job, even though he announced he'd be leaving right after the election. County Powers Act, probably the biggest failure of William Beard's. Of course, you could refer to that as a success, I guess.
He got it passed,
He got it
and it's
passed,
sitting there on the law books now.
like you mentioned earlier.
That's right, it's sitting there, and whenever they decide, whenever it comes for them to use this, they will use it. Don't kid yourself.
Oh, sure.
They'll put it to use. And there's things, well, our county attorney made a statement, and whenever he says something, you listen to what he says. Whenever he says something, there's something to it. He don't talk just to yourself echo. But he stated that there was something asked, and he said, you must pass this in order to do things that you're intending to do in the future. That meant, by making that statement, states that there's other things out there that's already in the works, in the planning, that they need this in place to make it work. There was also the word heretofore that was introduced into it. This was put on one of the last articles of it, and there was some sort of a legal situation in the works that by adding this one word, heretofore, or whatever, to this thing, made it retroactive to whenever this county was formed. It covers, the County Powers Act goes all the way back to whenever this county was formed. And all the things that are in it cover everything back then. And that kills some sort of a legal, somebody had some sort of a legal thing, and I don't know what it was.
They didn't want me to come in under the grandfather clause.
Well,
You know, the county,
let me
the
back-
county could plant a tree next to your business and bill you for it under that County Fires Act.
That is correct, they
Make you
can.
pay for it.
They can. They can make you pay for that mower coming in front of your place and mowing the grass on the public property.
And
But let me
that's-
go back.
That's coming,
let
where
me-
they'll fee us for mowing the right of way on the
Let
road.
let me touch something right here in this,
I wish you hadn't brought that up, cause they're looking for money.
well,
Well, that's another
I know
idea
who's
for
blamed
Cliff.
now, that's the next thing on the agenda, and I know who's blamed. You fellas done talk too much.
well,
Give him an idea, didn't it?
Yeah.
this railroad spur,
Well, I'm trying to get Cliff to tax
I'm sure.
every car full of coal that comes through our county on the railroad tracks.
We need to get him
But
to
anyway,
tax everybody that gets their yard mowed too.
this company that's wanting this railroad spur put in over at Jellicoe is a oil recycling company. They recycle the oil, all right? Now, I don't know whether they want to refine it, put in a refinery to process it, or whether they want to just load it and haul it out. But, right now, there's 2 or 3 companies right now that are sucking up all the used oil in this area that they can get. Now, I would like for somebody to explain to me how that they're gonna set in up there, this outfit, make the investment, compete against the people that are already here, and then how are they going to accumulate enough oil to load a tanker car?
Well, evidently, they're not planning on making any money, cause they can't build their own dadgum road.
Well, not only that, when this railroad spur was to be put in, it was my understanding that they had an agreement that they was going to try to be the sole owner of this thing. Of
Yeah,
this railroad spur.
sure, yeah.
Because county citizens were gonna pay for it, or we're gonna suck off one of these grants to get it done. Now, people, when it comes to grants, stop and think about it. A grant ain't nothing free. It's money that everybody in this country
Well, let me
thinks.
tell you how big business operates. They use all these new laws and regulations to create themselves an advantage. Do you remember when guys, everybody, all you had to do to open up a filling station was put you a barrel on the ground and a pump on top of the ground and pay for some gas and open up? You know, it's an act of God to get a gas station license now, but you used to pay 32 cents a gallon, now you're paying $3.50 a gallon. And one more thing, do you remember 2 years ago when you could buy a 100-watt light bulb for a quarter?
Now, but
And you wondered why that the light bulb people didn't fight that stupid legislation that the Republicans helped pass? They didn't, because they didn't want them there 25-cent light bulbs. They wanted them there $7 light bulbs.
Well, let me get back to this thing about this company that you're not hearing nothing about, and this your oil recycling. They had some kind of a co-payment thing with the city of Jellicoe, and they owed the city of Jellicoe something like $75. They owed them $75 for 6 months and couldn't pay them $75. Now, if that don't tell you something about this company,
Well, they figured
The
the Jellicoe was
thing is-
gonna go bankrupt, we
Well-
didn't have to pay them anyway.
well,
But
If-
we got a $12 million exit up there on Rarity Mountain.
if this company is anything like they say, like they present themselves, they can take care of this themselves.
You'd
Yeah,
think
but
so.
here's the thing of it. I have never heard anyone tell or say how that they're gonna accumulate enough oil to justify loading these tanker cars or building a spur in there for these tanker cars. Where's this oil gonna come from?
If they are reprocessing it up there, it stands to reason that the people who are sucking up all this oil around here are sending it to a reprocessing plant somewhere other than Jellicoe now.
Right.
And that by sending it to Jellicoe, it may be cheaper transportation costs. They may make more money by sending the oil that they're sucking up to a reprocessing plant in Jellicoe.
Okay? The travel distance is the determining factor as to whether it's feasible to use rail or trucks. All right? From Jellicoe to Knoxville, what are you looking at? Hour and a half run
On what?
with a tanker, a semi?
Truck.
Yeah. Maybe an hour and a half run.
Right, okay.
Okay? But here's where I'm coming from. they're gonna have to compete with the companies that are already doing it.
Well, they
Yeah.
haul gas into this county every day, look like it's all
Well,
over.
you're
What
talking
I'm
two
saying
different
is,
things, though.
These people,
Okay,
these people that are sucking up the oil around here, they are not reprocessing it.
Yes, they are too.
Where? They're-
Oh, some of it's been done in Knoxville. They've
I
got to
didn't know there was a
Yeah.
the whole reprocessing
Uh,
plant in Knoxville.
I can give you the names and whatever, because I have sold to them, and I have questioned them about it.
I know that, a lot of these thrift stores take reprocessed oil and sell it for motor oil again, you know. But I wasn't aware, I thought that they were, selling it to somebody that was shipping it out of this area anyhow to be reprocessed.
Okay, even if they're doing that, where is that much oil being produced, used oil, in this area that they can justify hauling it out by the train car loads?
Well, I'm not defending them, I just, the first time I thought about that is, you know, they're not only gonna draw from here, the railroads go all over the north and northeast and go west, and they'll be shipping it in from everywhere to be reprocessed.
It's like, this roller skating rink. This Wright lady, Kelly
It's
Jo
just
Wright,
It's ice skating, ice skating.
ice skating rink, Kelly Jo Wright, it's gonna cost $21,033 to rent that thing for 2 weeks.
That's a small one.
And she says that you pay $20 a day for unlimited use per day. Now, in 2 weeks, you're gonna have to come up with over 1,000 people, 1,050 people just to break even. Now, we got 1,050 ice skaters in this county or city,
Good
But-
and
question.
it's gonna boost tourism.
But
My God, the
During
lies,
December.
the lies these people will tell to get government money.
December, yeah.
In 2 weeks, you would have to have 1,050 people, well, 1,051 people to break even, 1,052 to break even, and you only got 14 days. So how many people, 14 into,
They ain't that
you'd
many
have to have
people.
over 100 people a day skating in this little bitty portable ice rink,
They ain't that many
Paying
ice
$20
skates in
a
Campbell
day.
County.
but you'd have to have 100 a day in this little bitty ice skating rink,
Are they gonna-
portable ice skating rink,
Are they
to
gonna,
just break even.
are they gonna do it?
No, it's up for discussion.
We done discussed it.
We done discussed it, but
Yeah,
anyhow.
these people.
They're gonna vote on it at the upcoming council meeting.
These people are kinda like, the military used to couldn't understand why nobody would eat apricots. You ever been to a military, mess line? And they always had apricots, you know that? And you know, nobody would ever take apricots. So they got these, servers down and indoctrinate them. And they said, when somebody comes through, don't ask them if they want apricot, ask them if they would like 1 or 2 servings of apricot. And they found out of the people who wouldn't get any at all, that 10% would take 1 serving, and of those that were getting some, about 20% of them would take 2 servings. So they were getting rid of more apricots. So this girl, Kelly Jo Wright, went into the, city council and presented them with 2 alternatives. They could take the big one or they could take the little one and spend the taxpayers' money. So she's been studying that government survey on whether you want 1 or do you want 2 ice skating rinks.
Well, you know that it's all in the way you present something. You know, they used to have rapeseed oil, which is good cooking oil, but they couldn't use it for nothing. Nobody would buy rapeseed oil. They just didn't sound like something you'd want to cook your stuff in. So you know what they done? You ever heard of canola oil?
Change the name.
They
Yeah.
changed the name.
Right,
Now it's
yeah.
in every grocery store in the country.
Right, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, everything that we're discussing here, I don't care what it is, it all boils around money. this.
Our money.
Our money, this $400,000 grant, it ain't no, we call it the word grant, but it's, somebody is paying for this, we're paying for part of it, and we're paying for everybody else that's all over this country that's sucking this money off this away.
Right.
It's
Well,
a
like
killing.
Davy
No.
Crockett, he wouldn't even have a
People-
water wheel out of the public.
People
transit.
like Cliff Jennings and Bob Fannin and Jeff
Hey,
Marlowe
right
and William Beard and these people, David G. Young, they have learned that it's easy to steal from the people if you use the tax laws to do it with.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then you can spend money in the most haphazard, irresponsible way you
Yeah,
choose.
yeah, but a few of them found out that didn't do it quite fast enough, so they resorted to other means.
Whenever they get that EPA cleanup crew in here, you reckon we can get them to go out and look at the lake where they're pouring sand in the water?
Why?
Yeah, that's ought to be a violation
You
of
know, back,
EPA.
back to how you call something, you were talking about canola oil, you know, they never could sell cereal here calling it mixed grain. So you know what they did? They changed it, they call it mucilage. Okay, mucilage in German means mixed grain. So over in Germany, they could not sell mucilage, so over there, they sell mixed grain.
Well, fellas, they've got a
So they
thing
call
here
it mixed training.
that I've never heard of, it's what they call the brown fields.
Yeah.
I had never heard that term used before, I'll look that up and see what they're talking about.
Well, it's a
But-
term that applies to, places that need to be cleaned up.
Well, let's
It's
talk.
called a brownfield project.
Subhazardous.
Okay, let's talk about places that need to be cleaned up.
Let's don't.
Well, Washington DC,
But let's not go there, already.
Jacksburg, and City Hall,
it ain't that clean.
Yeah, I wonder if politicians, if we could
yeah.
have them classified as brownfield projects.
Now, I think you gotta be in the country business, have ground field.
This property that they're talking about cleaning up, every square inch of it's got a deed hooked to it. That means any type of cleanup or whatever's involved, it follows the title of the property. Now, chances are whoever owns all these properties, these 10 places, whenever they clean this up, that's gonna make their property more valuable or whatever else, or if this was a serious problem, if there was serious stuff involved here, the EPA would already be after the property owner to see to it it was cleaned up. Am I correct, Ronnie?
I'd be willing to bet that.
That's it.
I would like to know how much William Beard's gonna be paid
He's
for
gonna be
his
paid at least-
leadership of this
Well,
project.
he's the mayor, he don't get no.
He will get 10% for managing it, I'll bet you.
That low?
No, well, 10% of $400,000 ain't but $40,000 to do what?
Well, consider
But
William
it's
Beard,
worth
yeah,
that much
he'd
anyway.
sell
To
out,
administer-
he'd sell out for 40 grand.
Well, no, you don't have to. This is where I get to this government thing, is 10% for the manager of whoever manages these
Right,
grants.
yeah, whoever. Hey, what about money?
Hey, fellas,
Go ahead.
hey, fellas.
Yeah,
Howdy.
Hey, where's the honesty anymore?
Can you define that word, honesty? I've heard it, but I don't know what it means
I
anymore.
don't see it too often.
People speak names, who was, and how hard you work, well, anymore, it's all about money and being crooked. Me and my wife, I've lived in this town all my life, and they turned my finger on and put me and my wife on the street, didn't try to help us. And that makes a man just want to pick up and leave, because who we got running our town here? A bunch of clowns?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel that you should pay your part on this yours, the ice rink we're talking about?
No, sir.
Do you,
I think if enough people gets together and they get off their hind end and start taking up for what's right, the world would be a lot better place to live in.
Yeah.
Now, you know,
well, it's
and I
kind of,
thank you for your time, and, have a good evening.
we
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you
you
for
calling.
calling.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Fellas, we're gonna have to do a little.
Do a little commercial. What was he saying? Was he in favor of the ice cream?
No, that gentleman
Well,
right there.
I've been here for 75 years. I've had 40 years experience in ambulance service. We We have a Class A ambulance service,
Almost 22 employees.
22 employees that we pay for, all on our own.
That's how much taxpayer money goes into this operation.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
We do all kinds of ambulance service. We're rated by the state as a Class A service. We can haul any kind of patients, we can go anywhere. We do a lot of non-emergency transports, nursing home, hospitals, doctor's offices. We go anywhere that patients want to go. We appreciate the opportunity to serve each and every one of our patients. Any kind of insurance you have, we're qualified to take it.
If you need medical transport, that's an ambulance, then call the company that does not require taxpayer money. They either please you or they go out of business. Call Vital Care at 562-9370. If you can't remember that, just call 911 and tell them you want Vital Care. Works every time.
It does do that, I'm a living example. And Bible care does work.
Folks, our incumbent for Attorney General of the 8th Judicial District, Lori Phillips-Jones, is opening her headquarters up here across from Terry's Pharmacy today. A friend of ours, a competitor in the show business, is
Call this show business?
supposed to go up and present her with evidence of one of our county commissioners who still owns school buses and has contracts with the school system for providing transportation. And this is a felony in the state of Tennessee to hold an elected office and have contracts with the county. And he has presented this evidence to her uncle, Paul Phillips, who refused to do anything. He's presented it before the county commission. They laughed him out of there. He took it to Lori Phillips-Jones, and she hasn't done anything, so he's supposedly going to present her with this evidence today, and more power to him. I hope he does, and I hope she goes home with a red face for not doing her job. Sometimes you have to get a writ of mandamus to make government officials do their job.
Right. Who is her competition?
Jared Effler is,
Jeffers?
no, Effler.
Effler.
Jared, J-A-R-E-D, Jared. Jared Effler. Thank you for the correction and pronunciation.
Well, there's one other thing that I'd like to make mention of. I never was one much for making laws or whatever, but I've been thinking that we need a law, and we need our representatives to get this to working. If we have what's called property, personal property, that we should be allowed to protect our property. And I think that's one of the things right now.
Real property or
I'm talking about real property. I'm not talking about your happiness. I'm talking about hard property.
Right.
That if you catch somebody stealing it, you ought to be able to defend it. And this is the reason I'm saying this too. There's no way that there's enough police force to protect our property. There ain't no way. They can't be there and protect
Well,
your
they can't
property.
do that and stop all these seat grubs.
Well,
Seat belt fellas.
fellas.
If they can catch all these people with no seatbelt, and they can catch everybody that's letting their goats run loose, they ought to be able to catch a simple thief.
Well,
They're spending all their time sending Martha Stewart to federal penitentiary. And did you feel safer while she was in jail?
The people felt so much safer after they wrote the citation on my goats. They started leaving their houses unlocked out there.
I'll tell you something when we get out of here, I forgot to tell you.
How about that? Yeah, I agree with you, Al, that law enforcement officers are not doing the job that
well,
we
they
need them
can't.
to do.
I mean, where can they sit? Can you put a police officer on every piece of property in this county that has something, or where the thieves are at? You take right now, if someone gets caught stealing, you take them to court, chances are they've not been caught 10 times, but look how many times that they weren't caught.
Did you know,
They're
did you
probably not
know,
caught 2% of the
there
time.
have been Supreme Court cases saying that police do not have, they are not obligated to protect you, protect your life or your property. Where, people have called the police, and they didn't get there in a timely fashion, but they were unable to, show negligence or anything like that. In fact, there was one case went to the Supreme Court where a policeman stood and watched a man beat another man within an inch of his life and didn't do anything to stop it. And the Supreme Court always rules on behalf of government and the police department.
Hey, Ronnie. Hey.
Hi, I was trying to get, Mickey and lawn service, but I guess I can call back, but I didn't get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. See ya.
Well, I know Mickey and Son's lawn service, and they all right, but we don't do that kind of work here.
What, lawn service?
Yeah.
So according to the Supreme Court, they do not have to protect your property.
Well, I'm talking about a state law. I'm to heck with the Supreme Court, about fed up with them anyhow. I'm talking about a state law that entitles you to protect your property.
Well,
If you wanted to do that, I would approach Stacy Campfield, the senator from Knoxville, who really believes in the rights of people. Now, getting them to do anything is really hard, but he's one of the better when it comes to people's rights, gun rights and property rights.
If we do not do something, the working people out here are going to give up. They're going to say that. You know what, with it.
Well, look how many have already given up. We got
Yeah.
50 million people on food stamps now.
Well, I can't much blame them.
And, yeah, you
I
can,
got with myself.
That's better than work.
I mean, what can you do? I tell you, we ain't got time to get into the thing, but you cannot hardly prove, like I can be standing 10 foot from you stealing your property, and when he runs, you can't prove that it was him. Do you know why? You cannot identify someone. You line up 6 or 8 people here that look almost alike, especially if it's in dim light, and I guarantee you can't identify
Well, I
one
used
of
to
them.
identify him, one had the lead in his hand,
Yeah.
Whichever one's leaving the
That'd
blood
be-
trail.
yeah, that'd be the
See,
best way
you
to do it.
You need a magnet, is
Well,
what you need.
what I'm telling you is, if you go with the rules of the law right now, you don't stand a chance.
Yeah,
You may
you-
have
you
1% of a chance.
Well, you take here in Tennessee, you can't even carry bullets in your gun.
Well, the legal profession does not want to do their job.